are the worst. I disagree.
So if you don't remember, you probably don't, I assume most of you have a memory of a goldfish. About a year ago now, I made a video about femboys that may have indirectly, unfortunately, affected my reputation. Many to this day think I'm a part of said group. No.
Chat, what do you think? Is royalty is here a femboy? I honestly wasn't thinking of that one. Can we get a poll? Can we get a poll out? Let's make a poll.
Like all my other videos,
God,
unlike
loud.
your average nature documentary, I just like to watch, observe, and educate. I'm very
I'm so sorry. I was blocking the maid outfit. I know you guys like that.
documentary. I just like to watch,
Their maid outfit, very nice, very demure.
observe, and educate. I'm very much confident in my current character stats and build, thank you, and I am in no way a philosopher in this subject. Think I've exonerated myself there on those phallic claims against me. Anyway, that previous video was basically a very brief overview of femboys, and an answer to an ever-mounting question that has plagued us in current times, and probably the past decade. Is it gay to like a femboy? But one YouTube really didn't like that video, apparently due to some of the contents of it, probably the first 10 seconds I'm going to be honest. I personally think it was the thumbnail, which was gender-morphed pyrocynical, which is probably an accurate depiction of him nowadays anyway, and two, the pyrocynical subreddit didn't really like the use of gender-bent pyrocynical, along with the discussion and attitude towards femboys in said video, which...
Why not? Rarity is here when people use their free will to dress a certain way in spite of what they expected to by society. He will not see the light of God. What? Pyro got so many good pictures of him cross-dressing, and then they used the shitty filter picture. Amateur. You know what? That's understandable. That was understandable. Just use a real picture of him.
Pyrocynical, along with the discussion and attitude towards femboys in said video, which I don't think they watched fully, because I think I was fairly kind and understanding towards the subject. But most pyro fans are femboys anyway, let's be honest. But looking back at that video, it is somewhat outdated.
Oh, I just gotta show the result of our poll real quick. We got a 76% there, right there, saying royalty is here as a femboy. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
And it was a bit broad regarding the topic. And yes, I know, it's hard to identify what my usual content is. I mean, if you look at my YouTube page, we go from serious topics to videos like this. No, I'm not bipolar in any way. I'm just interested in a very range of topics, I guess. Or maybe I'm making this video because I've unfortunately found out that a good percentage of you are femboys. The YouTube
Yo! 15% female? Bro, my female percentage was like 3%, maybe 4%. Wait, let me see what my current percentage is. 4.1% female. Oh, Sherlock. What the hell? That's my controller. Bro. What percentage femboys do you have? Well, if all the males that are watching me are femboys, then it's 94.9% femboys.
Do not lie. I don't know how I've achieved this. Maybe I've been preaching too much to the estrogen-filled War Thunder community. But yeah, here we are. And today we are jumping back into the expanded, excavated mineshaft that is the crevice of the femboy community. So clear your schedule, lower your testosterone, and jump back into the closet. Because first, what is a femboy?
Any of you femboys
I'll tell you what's a femboy!
want to come play with my tit?
So the online definition of a femboy refers to a male, usually cisgender, who expresses themselves with traditional feminine behaviours. It's basically the guy that...
Hello,
Yo!
chat and Kitsu.
Hi! What's up? Thank you for the 3 months, bro.
plays the support role or any female avatar in any game with the...
Yes, all Slovenians are femboys. Yes.
ultimate copium excuse, that is, they just want to support the team and look at a female model over a male. Sure, buddy, we all believe you. The blue striped thigh highs with the cat toe beans, the wax strips and the medieval chastity belt that are...
The medieval what?!
...are all in your Amazon wish list, are only there to obviously enhance your gaming experience. especially the pink Razer cat-eared headphones, which heighten your reflexes in game.
They do.
But femboys can often be
Blush!
mistaken with other groups and aesthetics, like twinks, for example.
Bro, the 90% of this is my aesthetic. Bro, 90% of this is my aesthetic.
Can often be mistaken with.
I literally have this headset for when I go outside, just in pink. Like, I don't wear black lipstick. I don't like black lipstick, but like
other groups and aesthetics, like twinks, for example, who are slim, gay, or bisexual men with relatively no hair, and whose only worry is the impending
and the
doom
AI,
that
yes,
is
of
twink
course.
death. But compared
Is
to
the video
twinks
so
being
quiet? Is the video quiet? I can make it louder. No, yes. A bit quiet? I'll make it a bit louder then.
a femboy doesn't automatically mean you're gay, and that you reside in the borders of Poland, contrary to popular belief. But they also get confused with the trans community, although some femboys are trans.
Yes, but femboys are not generally trans. They're just like, you know, they're trans femboys, but not all femboys are trans. It's just, they're still straight. They still like women. And some people just try to force their belief onto them, though.
Being a femboy is more of an aesthetic thing more than a gender identity. But femboys have been around for some time, apparently all the way back to ancient Greece and Rome, where flesh sword fighting was happening on the daily, and it was somewhat normal. But they weren't labelled femboys, more just feminine men, and any activities with femboys weren't seen as gay, it was more labelled as male bonding. In fact, the only person...
Male bonding, you say? Chad, male bonding, you say, huh? I'm learning so much today.
And seen as gay was the one that was getting the extended prostate exam. And no, you cannot use that excuse in the modern era. But for the love of God, I don't want to talk about the Emperor Nero story. That is just straight up nightmare fuel.
Oh my God!
Quite recently, around the 2000s, they started to get popular again. Probably due.
Chat, is it derogatory to call a femboy a trap? Because back in, like, my anime days, you know? Nah, I don't know. I've been told about that, like, a few times now. Because it's like as if the guy would have been trapped into liking the femboy in question in this time. Like, as in... I'm not sure, I heard that. But I wouldn't say so. I grew up with the term. And it literally is just the same as a femboy. Like, a trap is a femboy. As Exion, why are you asking us? Because all of you are femboys! That's why! Chat, you're my little femboys! The problem was people on Twitter couldn't tell the difference between traps and trans. Oh, lordy lord. I disagree, yeah, well, that's too bad. Sorry, I can't be a femboy, why not? Can I be a femboy if I'm a girl? Yes! I'm not very femboy according to Nightbot. Well, don't listen to Nightbot. Nightbot is a liar.
Due to things like the progression of the internet, and yes, due to things like trends where femboys were comparing their schlongs to monster cans.
Excuse me, what? Excuse me, they were doing what? Excuse me, what? Why? And why is it this one? But at least go for the white monster can. For what's this fucking basic ass monster shit, man?
And some took it a step further and put it in their extended inventory slot, which if you want a body temperature white monster, go ahead I guess. Aren't you glad you learned that was a trend? And even further through the 2000s with the introduction of things like Discord, YouTube, TikTok, and more significantly anime, more people were coming across femboys.
Mom, I want you.
Either questioning
this added
their sexuality or wondering if it's a good financial decision to buy a full Astolfo cosplay. In fact, probably due to the COVID pandemic in 2020, it only accelerated the growth of this aesthetic and community at the time. Because people being inside most days with their only access to the outside world being the internet, which you do anyway, it resulted in a lot of people discovering themselves or things about them they never knew. Especially with things like hobbies, like art, crocheting, streaming maybe, and the odd Minecraft phase. Or maybe you decide to start programming in C+, and like most C++ programmers, you take a long look at yourself in the mirror and discover maybe you're not as masculine as you thought you were. Look at yourself in the mirror and discover...
Nice! Oh my god! Hey, do we have any programmers in chat? This is so horribly accurate.
Maybe you're not as masculine as you thought you...
Yeah, let me show you the last one. Not me having a C++ exam tomorrow. What comedy? I told you were a femboy. You're all fat. I called it.
You were, and maybe you've developed an abhorrent addiction to Dead by Daylight and Fallout New Vegas.
Hey!
I know for a fact that you guys like Fallout New Vegas. I know that for a fact, chat. You constantly keep mentioning this goddamn game.
I can almost see right down the barrel!
To the point where you see yourself in a new light. A feminine light. I think a good example is Finsta, who all the way back during COVID used to lean into the joke that they were a femboy with their Twitch chat, and it's no longer a joke anymore. They actually ended up discovering something about themselves. On top of the fact, it makes a lot of fucking money. Femboys are well associated with things like thigh highs, monster consuming, most things feminine, and...
The freaking fingerless gloves, man, with the beans. The fishnets. Oh my...
Skirts. Yes, like that one person that ruined an entire look during the 1940s. You cannot wear skirts if you identify as predominantly male. Unless you're Scottish, but then again, nobody really cares. Most people are more concerned with the fact one of your neighbours loves to touch livestock. But against popular belief...
Oh my god. Not the Welsh. Not the Welsh. Scotland forever! Oh my... Femboys IRL, Femboys online. Accurate. Accurate.
Most femboys can actually be found more online than in the biomes of the public outdoors. So yeah, finding an IRL femboy is somewhat of a rarity, as most like to keep their...
You can't find them at conventions though. That's one place you'll find them at IRL.
...hobby a secret due to somewhat of a negative stigma developed as a result of the popularity of femboys.
Speaking of, I actually have a picture to show in regards of this that was going around Twitter. There. The duality of man. Also, I'm just gonna say, reminds me of Mikasa and Eren. Totally didn't comment that right here. Goth Mikasa and Punk Eren.
Which we will talk about later. But most femboys don't actually express such hobbies in public, more just do it in the comfort of their own home. Like another group of people that get a harsh reputation. But to your surprise, there are many subclasses of femboys. You've got the gothic femboys, that for some reason, more than other types of femboys, are always quite armed with either semi-automatic weapons, or just some level of arsenal. You've got the...
What's up with femboys and guns? Well, what is up with femboy and guns, man? What's the correlation? They're cool? You know what? I'll give you that. Sure, yeah. Sure, they are cool.
The Hello Kitty or Sanrio femboys, which
like
are on the same level as their female counterpart.
Which one is the girl?
Fun fact, did you actually know Hello Kitty is canonically British? Another hobby we've managed to colonise. You cannot escape us. You've got the tomboy femboys, which seems like some sort of oxymoron. You want to look feminine, but in a masculine way. You've got femboys more on the end.
What was that? What the heck was that? Also, tomboy, femboy, just, as he said, oxymoron. Why? That just doesn't really make sense. I don't know. That one's weird. That one's weird.
Oxymoron. You want to look feminine, but in a masculine way. You've got femboys more on the entertainment side of the spectrum, with things like femboy VTubers, which...
Yeah, that's a lot of them.
which never ceased to surprise me.
Ultra Kill is the shooter game with built-in butt. So,
What?
hey Google, remind me to buy Ultra Kill after the stream in like 4 hours.
It does? Why do you know this? Why do you know this? Hold on, why do you know this? Maxor? Why does Maxor know it?
I know what kind of man you are.
And you have additional subgenres of femboys, but don't worry, all of them are equally as racist, all of them have different spawn rates.
Did you just say equally as
And for
racist?
some reason, most of them are gun and history fanatics, and play Dead by Daylight and Hearts of Iron. But you now know what a femboy is, somewhat their history behind it, and the genres of it. But what are the problems that such a community faces?
Ooh, you like boys. You're a boy kisser.
My God, young man.
Gordon jump scare.
Now, the femboy community does face a lot of problems.
That's the song again!
Yes, you can't just download a Linux distro, wear knee-high socks, and play War Thunder or VR Chat in peace, because there is quite a heavy burden that comes with being a femboy. One of the main ones is the stereotype of it, and the somewhat negative stigma that surrounds it.
Why is almost everything femboy related not safe for work? That is true. Can't a woman just enjoy cute femboys without it being sexualized? I mean, have you seen Fairies? Fairies is best girl. Like, bro.
Over the years, especially recently, being a femboy has become more sexualized and advertised as a fetish more than anything. It's become characterized as
There! Fairies!
this blatantly NSFW thing, and anyone that partakes in it must be somewhat gay, when in reality, it's just an aesthetic. It has nothing to do with your sexuality, personality, or anything else.
Thank you! Oh my god, there's so much! Not to be political about this, right? But why can't guys just wear feminine stuff without automatically being assumed that they want to be a woman? Like, let guys just wear what they want! Why are girls allowed to be tomboys and society is okay with it, but guys are shamed? Fuck you, society! Because we give real women a run for their money? You know what? That's a good point. I'll stall for law kicking in hard femboy that uses his cute side, girl side, to attract. Wait, let me read that. To attract the biggest harem in history. I've actually never watched the anime with Astolfo. It's Fate. He's in Fate, right? I'm not sure. They're afraid they'll have competition. As a wise man once said, because it's gay. No, it's not! No, it's not! If you want to be a fanboy, be a fanboy. I support you. I support fanboy rights. If you wanna wear thigh highs or wear a cute skirt, fucking do it. Fanboy rights. Fanboy rights. Because guys who embrace femininity can't be work slaves and be culturally protected at the same time. Either be a slave or be a woman. I hate society! Let's break down society! Fanboys also need love, true! But if we say no, will you shame us? No to what? We live in a society.
It's just simply how you appear. But unfortunately, due to the popularity of femboys in recent years certainly blowing up,
Holy
and
shit!
the majority of the attention goes towards people that present themselves as femboys, who are active on platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and God forbid Twitter, and post suggestive content which indirectly assists with the stereotype, and not to mention memes that represent femboys as attention-starved Viagra overdosing fiends.
Hi, my name is Reggie.
Hi,
I like
Reggie.
guys. I really like guys. There's just something about them.
I just for a second, it really reminded me of that show. What's the show called? With the two rats that are in the lab. Pinky and the Brain. Yeah. That one. For a second there, I thought that was like something from it, but I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I'm like completely off there.
Starved Viagra
It just reminded me of
overdosing
it
fiends.
for a second.
Hi, my name is Reggie. I like guys. I really like guys. There's just something about them. I like their touch, their smell.
Also doesn't help with the reputation of femboys, and leads to once again the topic being over-sexualized, and rather a poor reputation for those that are in the community. But we all have to remember another slogan of this channel. No, not the one you're thinking of. The loudest part of a community doesn't represent the whole community, or the average femboy, because most femboys you don't even know are femboys.
I'm sorry, but I must say that is a cute maid outfit. That is a really cute maid outfit. I'm not gonna lie. That's top tier. Like, this is top tier maid outfit. It has the collar, it has the cuffs. Do you own it? No, not this one. Isn't that yours? No, I don't think so. No. Mine is different. Is it the one Hexagon will wear? Yes.
Average femboy, because most femboys you don't even know are femboys. Most are very private about this topic and hobby. Possibly meaning somebody
yeah, because society is shaming them for it!
You know could be a femboy. It is not me before you finish that comment, you f***ing degenerate.
Yes, it
The
is.
majority of femboys don't actually act like the majority of what you see online.
Oh my god.
Of course we have to exclude any Discord using femboys, most of them are fiends.
Bro! That sound made my headset vibrate. Bro, that sound made my headset vibrate. My ears were vibrating. What the fuck?
But you probably won't see the non-sexual side of this community, at least on most platforms. But keep in mind, not all femboys are as they are advertised, and if you approach one, contrary to popular belief and Reddit, they are not going to immediately spread their prostate and ask you to deposit your lineage in there, because as previously educated, not all femboys are gay. And they're not all down bad to the point where they would lower themselves to someone like you. They will probably either immediately block you, or if this is in public, stare at you like a used condom they found in the gutter on the side of the road. But due to the stereotype and the online perception of femboys, it has led to many in the femboy community receiving harassment or unprompted sexual advances.
Oh no, some things need to be said. Now, me as a femboy, I get bullied and harassed on a constant basis. Oh man!
Almost at default due to the stereotype. You want the experience of being a female on any dating app, try being a femboy. You'll probably see so much circumcised meat you'd have thought you'd have walked into a butcher's shop. But it gets much worse when you think that some of these femboys are receiving these types of messages, and said femboys are underage. Yeah, it's not unheard of in the community, some femboys are minors, which with the combination of the stereotype is a horrifying thought. Another type of harassment femboys received is a title that used to be acceptable and now it isn't so much, and that title is trap.
Oh, here we go!
Which back in my day was mainly used to describe anime characters that looked like girls but they weren't, so it was called a trap. Femboys would often get associated with this title because they were not expecting a 12-gauge shotgun with an extended barrel to be under their skirt.
I'm sorry. That animation.
Because they were not expecting a 12-gauge shotgun with an extended barrel to be under their skirt. But in recent years, it actually developed into somewhat of a slur. No longer just referring to fictional characters, but now is a slur for people mainly in the transgender community and sometimes femboys. But to be honest,
can I still call anime characters a trap? Oh, a bit bad. I don't know, man. People are weird. It's just a word. Get over it.
I haven't heard the word trap in a while, except when it is actually directed towards an anime character. Another problem the community faces is gatekeeping, as you obviously only can be considered an official femboy if you're conventionally attractive, constantly on a calorie deficit of 1,500, your total body fat is around 5%, and you have to have default feminine features given to you at spawn. If not, you are not considered a femboy, and you probably got told to give up on all...
We love gatekeeping! Yay! But there is a certain stereotype to the looks of a femboy, I guess. There are some stereotypes to it, you know? So is Frieza an alien femboy?
Your hopes and dreams of being a feminine dude. I think with this problem and most others I've mentioned, people have this idea for a femboy, especially on the internet, that you have to act a certain way, often being NSFW, and you have to fit these like physical guidelines to be considered a femboy. But being a femboy is just presenting yourself in somewhat more of a feminine way, not a gender identity, a sexuality, or something that has any strict guidelines. Just boys being feminine boys.
Ooh, ooh. You're so warm. I couldn't help but notice your bulgy-wolgy from across the floor.
That's it, we're ending stream. No, it's... No. No. No, no, it's... No. No. No! No!
So in conclusion, I think the perceived definition and appearance of femboys has somewhat skewed over the years in somewhat of a negative light, when it's simply just an aesthetic thing. It doesn't mean anything else. And by definition, it is not gay to be a femboy, but liking them is a whole different ballpark. If you're talking about liking pixels on a screen, I'd just call you a loser. If you're talking about an actual person, either gynosexual or whatever it's called, or if it's anything else, sorry to break it to you, buddy.
No! Let me debunk this chat! If a straight guy does the deed with a femboy, the straight guy is not gay because the straight guy is straight. There you go. So it's not gay. Not still gay. Either way, I can like femboys all I want because I'm a straight woman, and for me to like a person of the opposite gender is considered straight, so I'll suck it. Suck it, chat.
Nobody fucking cares. It's the modern age. People are more concerned currently about Nintendo bending us over a desk and entering our anus financially than most things are caring
boy,
at this current
Nintendo.
time. But yeah, bit of a quick video for you, and a bit of a change from what I usually do. But that's all I wanted to say, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye!
So,
yeah, Nintendo is really, yeah. Yeah, Nintendo do be doing that to us. So you like what you will never have? Sure. Not gonna lie, I thought femboy meant that a woman dressed as a boy, but I was just a tiny bit off. Just a tiny bit. A little bit more to the right, okay? Just move a little bit more. Many words to be at that guy, but hey Kitsu, do you watch any femboy content creators? Asmongold. Okay, that will do it. Bye chat. Sorry, bye YouTube.